where are we at? Okay, so I am excited for today's class. We are going to be going, this is class 3. Oops. This don't play audio. Get out of here. Okay. Let me get back to it. Okay, this is class 3 on identity, permission, and your money story, because it really depends on like how you identify how you look at yourself, on what you allow in your life. And then this does make your story, but we're going to be talking about money today. Let me know, guys, if y'all don't have the worksheet. I put it into the chat for today's class. But what you'll be learning today, we're going to be talking about something most people completely miss when it comes to money, and this is identity. This is everything, guys, because you don't just earn money, you allow it. This is everything in life, everything. By the end of the class, you will understand. And when I say you allow it, this is what I was just talking about, like right before we started recording, the standards, boundaries, all of this, everything, relationships, money, career, purpose, everything. Do you allow it? How do you see yourself? What do you think you're allowed to have? How early experiences, so by the end of this class, what you're going to understand is how early experiences shaped your financial identity. If you're around parents that were always struggling, you may just have this subconscious thing of feel like you got to struggle to make it happen. Why some people expand financially faster than others? How subconscious beliefs quietly cap your income. I think they loudly do it. But why mindset alone fails without a nervous system safety. And how to begin shifting identity in a way your body can actually hold. Because it's all about what do you have the capacity to hold? That's what you're going to have. That's what you already have. And you know what? What you think you deserve is what you already have. So this is showing you right now, look around. This is your identity. This is who you think you are in this moment. This is who you've identified to be in this moment. And you can choose anything different at any moment. And this is where you have the power, is right now. And we'll finish with a short, brief activation exercise that helps your brain begin accepting a higher financial reality. Not forcing it, just opening the door, because it's not about force, it's about power. So every person in this room has a money story. And most of it formed before the age of 10. I would say 7, but 10. Some people, their analytical brain doesn't start develop like form actually until about 10 to 12, but some start at 7. Children don't analyze beliefs. They just absorb them. That's that subconscious mind in the beginning where everything that's happening, you're listening to it, you're believing it because whoever's saying it to you should be telling you the truth and want you to survive and do the best, right? But they're only doing the best that they can. So children absorb. So think back for a moment. What did you hear about money growing up? Common messages many people have heard are we can't afford that. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. They had to step on somebody on their way up. Money causes problems. There's never enough. You got to work hard for that. I know I heard all of those things. I even had my ex's mom, she would get so mad when somebody came in well dressed and looked like they were wealthy. She's like, you think you're better than everybody else. It was just amazing how upset she would get about it. I'm like, I don't think they thought that at all. But we don't see things for what they are. We see things for what we are and how we choose to see them. We project our own stuff onto it. So a child doesn't question those statements, they just take it in. And that becomes their truth. That becomes their beliefs that they start working off of. That becomes their subconscious programming. This is their programming. This is what you've been working off, is the programming that you've been installed with, unless you've decided to change it. And that's what's beautiful now, is that you're old enough and aware enough that you can choose whatever programming you want, but you just have to know it's going to take time. Just like working out a muscle, It's going to take time to reprogram your brain and how you choose to respond, even how you choose to have an emotion. Like that comes off your subconscious programming. So, like when that's dropped, you can't initially control your emotions, but over time through rewiring, you can. So, these truths become your identity. And because they're now your identity, guess what happens? You project it out into the world, and then you have the beliefs reiterated over and over and over that you are this person and you have to stay in this place. This is just what you have to deal with. These are your responsibilities, these are your obligations. And if you're saying something like that, you probably don't like your life. So by adulthood, many people are running financial scripts they never consciously chose. This is not just about money, guys. This is everything. And these scripts quietly shape how much you charge, how much you're willing to accept, how much you save, how much, what kind of risk you're willing to take, and what you believe is possible. Because we don't do things we don't believe are possible. Even if we think it's possible for someone else and we don't believe it's possible for us, we're not going to accept it's possible for us. And we won't even try. We'll make so many obstacles before that even happens. So, what was the emotional tone around money in your childhood? You guys don't have to answer, but if you want to, you can put it in the chat. Was it stress, scarcity, conflict? Like the more money, the more problems, silence, responsibility. Like, oh, now I'm responsible for more stuff. It's just better if I just lay low and make everybody else responsible and just sleep on the couch. Your nervous system learned money through that environment that you grew up in. So that's why it's important to understand like what environment did you grow up in and how did it have an effect on your subconscious programming? Actually, guys, I do need to answer this. It's something that's been trying to come through. So I'm going to pause this and I'm going to put you on hold just for a second. Sorry guys, I normally wouldn't do that, but that was important and it was one of those things that I can't um I have to wait on the reach out. So give me one second. Let me put this back in. Okay. So what was the emotional tone around money in my child in your childhood? That's something to ask. And if you're in the worksheet, if y'all are already looking at that right now while you're going through the class, you can see how some of this, it's like, where have how have I been thinking about this? And it's just making you aware because it's when you're aware that you can like open up the program. Because if you can imagine, we're like computers in a way, because our brains are the supercomputer. It's way better than a computer. But if you look at the way the body is made and the way even do traffic, they do traffic after blood vessels. Um, Computers are actually go off of like how kind of the brain works. So it's really interesting that everything that's been made actually goes off of what nature has already been doing because it does it perfectly. So your brain is amazing. And when you understand that the moment that you can recognize a program and be like, hey, this isn't working, you got to open it up and be like, okay, we're going to replace you. But there's going to be some bugs. It happens. It happens with computers. It happens with us because they're still going to have those wrinkles, those synapses is firing off because it's used to doing that. And it's been doing that for you to work for you, not to work against you. So it's like, well, the moment you realize it's not working for you, your mind, your body, your nervous system can get all on board and be like, okay, yeah, this is something that we need to do something about. So your identity sets your financial thermostat. And this is something that we've talked about before, your financial thermostat. The identity is what sets that thermostat. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. This is what happens every single time. This is why people self-sabotage. And when I say you fall to your identity, this is the identity you have the capacity to hold in your nervous system, in your emotions, like everything about you, who you identify to be, how you feel, how you think, how you act. That's your identity. And so it's like you fall to that. You fall to your pre-programming basically. And you're only like 5 to 10% aware most of the time. So the rest of it, and it's because the brain, the way it works is it gets too tired. It can't honestly be mindful 100% of the time. It would be too tired. So it has things that go to the subconscious brain. So it can just work in the background. So you can be conscious of things that it thinks that you need to be conscious of to make sure you survive. You don't walk in a hole. You eat when you need to. You take a bath, whatever it is that you need to do. So you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity, your programming. So if somebody internally identifies as someone who struggles with money, then even if they earn more, their behavior will eventually return them to familiar territory. This is why they talk about the lottery winners and how they'll all of a sudden just lose their money and go right back to being broke again. And this is just our financial thermostats. Even if everybody got the same amount of money and started off with the same amount of money, crazy, but the ones who are already wealthy would just get wealthy again, and the ones that were broke would just get broke again, more than likely. And so it has nothing to do with how much money did you get. It has everything to do with how do you identify with the money that you have. And so if you struggle with money, even if you earn more, you're gonna have a problem with it. And it's not because you're failing, but it's because your identity hasn't expanded yet. You haven't gotten that capacity. You know how we were talking about rivers and making sure the banks widen? And that takes time. Because if you try to put too much water in an area that doesn't have the capacity for it yet, and this is why I would say that like quantum leaping may not always be the best thing to do, or like too much on yourself at once because you can implode or you can flood. And now it's going to be there's going to be problems. And maybe it'd take even longer for you to expand those banks. So it's all about taking those time to expand and being okay with that, being patient with yourself while you're becoming that. And just learning along the way. You don't have to like go to sprinting right when you start walking. You can just chill out, walk a little bit and just enjoy the journey. So identity determines what feels normal to you. And the nervous system protects what's normal, even when normal isn't what you want. So one powerful concept is the idea of permission. Many people subconsciously believe that they're not allowed to have money, not allowed to want it, not allowed to enjoy it, not allowed to keep it. Like if you have money, you got to save it. What are you doing going out and eating on it? Like some people feel bad about that. And it's like getting over that, giving yourself that permission. Actually, I did this probably 15 years ago, maybe even longer. But I used to feel bad about spending money on myself. And I even was with a man that I paid for everything, but he would have a problem if I spent money on myself. And then even when I was younger, it was like if I wasn't saving or putting money to something else, what was I doing? So I just thought it was bad for some reason to spend money on yourself. And then I started going to a sushi place because I found out I loved sushi. And there was a happy hour where I could get a $3 roll, and I wanted to have two rolls. So I would go every Friday because I got off 30 minutes early, and I would get myself two rolls, and I would only spend $10 because of the tip and everything. And I felt like I was winning, and I was giving myself permission to spend money on myself. And it was really good food. It was right next to work. It was expensive feeling when I walked in. So even though I was only spending $10 a week, I felt like I was like building my confidence. And it did. It did build my confidence. So this is like expanding your capacity. Like I only started with $10 a week on myself. I'm way higher than that now. But it's you expand with what feels comfortable to you. And that's what I did at the time.
Okay, I got a question.
Uh-huh.
Why do we feel guilty about that? Like I'll smoke a daggum cigar every 6 months or so,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, that's way too much money just to burn up.
Because that's what you choose to think. That's way too much money to burn up. Why? Maybe somebody said something to you at one time that it was too much money. Maybe somebody was like, oh, that's a waste of money. Something along the way that you believed that. So now you repeat it in your own head whenever you're doing it. And you can choose the belief that you want to believe. So you can be like, you know what? I'm enjoying this. And because I'm enjoying this, I'm upping my like vibration. I'm putting myself in a level that I can only get more. So I'm going to sit back, enjoy it, and accept the abundance coming my way in this kind of attitude that I'm in right now. And then every time that you get this old belief that comes up again while you're doing it, or when you're doing something else, then that's whenever you're going to be like, oh, stop for a second, become aware. Don't just act out of your old programming. And sometimes you will start acting out of your old programming, but it's that awareness that you are that's going to help you. So you can stop and be like, wait, no. Like when I started spending more money, or when I would spend money when I was younger, I felt bad every time I spent money, even to pay a bill. And so I started having to say, anytime I paid a bill, that I was grateful I had the money to pay the bill. So it was starting to expand my capacity in a way without knowing that that's what I was doing at the time. I was just trying to go from a negative way of thinking to a more positive way of thinking. And that definitely did a lot of shifting for me. But that doesn't mean that there isn't sometimes some stuff that comes up, like taxes or something, where I see the bill and I'm like, dang, I don't want to pay that. and, like, and so it still comes up in different levels and layers, but it's not about like, I don't want to do that. It's like I'm glad that I have the capacity to do this. And if I don't, I'm glad that this has come up so I learn how to create the capacity for this. Or maybe there's something else. Maybe you're being redirected. I don't know. There could be so many things. Um, okay. And also money was morally loaded. People associate wealth with greed, arrogance, selfishness, corruption, and even now with pedophilia, like there's just so many things out there where people are like, oh, the elites. Like, how are they elite? They just have money? But money itself is neutral. It's not a bad thing. It's simply a tool. It's just a resource, and you get to decide what you do with it. You get to decide if it's going to be for good or bad. You get to decide if you're worthy of it. You get to decide how much you're worthy of. And this is the key is you get to decide. And once you decide, now it can be a conscious effort to have this type of life instead of, oh, well, I'm just used to always having an older car, having to, like budget everything, having to go for the cheaper clothes, having to just shop off clearance. I used to only shop off clearance racks. And it was like the only thing I would do because I thought it was a waste of money to do anything else. I just thought that I could put money into a charity or like children or Meals on Wheels instead of an expensive shirt. And I'm like, that could be 3 meals for someone. And that's what the way I used to think. And I had to get over that because everything I do isn't for everyone else. I can have an experience myself too. I mean, it's my life. Like, why am I not caring about my life? Why am I only caring about everyone else's? And I was just like becoming this crazy, like pouring everyone else, but not in myself thing. So I had to retrain myself that that was okay to do that. And you know what? When you're retraining yourself, people that are used to you being a certain way will try to pull you back in and be like, you're being selfish now. How dare you think of yourself? It's like, I know. Thank you. It took me a while to get here. That was my response when it started happening. Now I don't have anyone say that in my life because it's different people. But uh, when the moral weight is removed, you have no bad thoughts about it. Like you don't have to think you have to be a bad person to have it. You don't have to think that you have to work really hard to have it, or whatever it is. Even just the moral stuff is one thing. Something shifts and it's internal. You're going to have a shift and you begin to realize it's safe to want more. It's safe to build more. It's safe to receive more. You're not going to screw it up if you get it. And if you do, that's okay. You're learning. So permission changes behavior. So and ask yourself this, if I become truly wealthy, would any part of me feel guilty? Would you feel like, how dare you be wealthy if this kid is sick and like has no money and their parents have no money? And you need to get it for everybody. I got plenty of money. I can give it to everybody so I can be broke again and everyone else can have a little bit of something. Like what do you think? If someone were to give you $1 million today, how would you spend it? This answer reveals a belief about you and money. So why mindset alone doesn't work. Now here's the part many mindset teachings miss. You cannot hold a belief your nervous system experiences as unsafe. So if someone repeats I'm wealthy, but their body feels panic, you're not going to make that okay because your nervous system rejects that identity. Your nervous system is saying, nope, that's not for us. Nope. And it's not because you're negative, it's because your body just doesn't yet trust that level of stability. I know that sounds weird. Sometimes it's a level of comfort, a level of peace, a level of love. But until we're comfortable with that and feel like we deserve it, we won't have it. Again, you have everything you think you deserve right now. If you want to know what you think you deserve, money wise, you have it. Relationship wise, you have it. Career wise, you have it. And that's in this moment. Like, just take full accountability for it. It's not like blaming yourself and being like, oh, crap, dang, I need to do better. Yeah, I named this class Get Your Shit Together for a reason. But it's knowing just where you are, so you can do better and just being aware of that. It's not about shaming or guilting yourself. Okay, that's like the worst. And it's okay if you feel that, feel it and accept it so you can come back up. But um this is why I like affirmations, vision boards, and all of that will not work for some people. And they'll be like, this is not working for me. Well, there's a few reasons, but this is one of the reasons. And it's because the nervous system has to work together with these new beliefs that you're trying to incorporate. What you're saying out loud, do you really believe it? Do you believe it can happen for you? Or are you just hoping? Because there's a difference between hope and faith.
Okay, I got a question.
Hmm.
Okay, like I wrote down slash vision board, and I mean, most everything I've put on my vision board I've gotten, except for
Hmm.
this house that's 700 acres and it's $4 million minimum. But I wrote down before COVID that I wanted to go to the National Finals Rodeo. Never thought it'd be impossible. That year it was in Dallas and we got to go. How does that work?
You believed it and you let it go. So there's another
That
part
okay. That
to all of this is
okay.
that law of detachment. You actually have to believe it enough to let the thought go. That's when you have the space for it to come in. It's almost like we have slots, you know. I don't know how to say this, but energetically, if you can imagine like you have slots for everything that you want. And as long as you're sending something through it, saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, nothing can come back through that slot. So you have to send the message out and be like, yeah, this is what I want. And then let it go so you can create the space for the thing to come back in through the slot that you've asked it for.
Well, okay. It's like literally I went back a year and a half, 2 years after I wrote all that stuff down and just started marking stuff off.
Yeah. Yeah. And the stuff that you didn't mark off, it's like, okay, why did I not believe I could have that?
Well, like I put down a set of golf clubs.
Mhm.
I had a set of golf clubs in for years, and literally probably within 6 months, my brother goes, "Hey, I've got this free set of golf clubs that I got gave to you. You want them? Yeah, I sure do."
And that's the crazy part is you don't have, it doesn't have to be money that brings it in. There's so many other ways. Like people can just give it to you. You could win it. You know, there's so many things that could happen. There's no telling. It's like being open to allow it to happen in any way that it wants to. I say it as long as it comes from a good space. For places known and unknown.
So, Mitzi, when it's something that we think of as big, a big item like a house or a car, something we think of as a big high ticket, item. How do we just let go of it when it just kind of takes up all of our thinking? Because I have experienced the think about it and let it go instantaneous or within such a quick time span that I realized, oh wow, I manifested that. So when it's something we think of as big, how do we stop thinking of it as big and just let it go?
What do you think breathing is a big deal?
Sometimes. And I
Yeah.
tell my stuff things like that. Receiving this or whatever it is it comes to me as easily as air.
Yeah.
But then life happens, the day progresses, and but then I'm back to focusing on that big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, it's because of the way you think about the big thing. It's a fear and a sense of control that if you think about it, somehow you're going to make it happen. And that's the thing you have to let go of. You can't make it happen that way. You have to allow the space for it to happen after you set your intention and you take inspired actions. So it's staying in a place of reception after you set off the signal. But I understand. I get it. Like when there's a big deal going on, it's hard to not think about that thing because
Mhm.
it may be something you've never had before, or it may be something that you've never encountered before. It's new. It's unfamiliar. And even if you've accomplished certain things, it could be like, well, I haven't done this yet. And the new can make us like, or just not having done it much or whatever, can, I don't know, it can be scary. And it's that fear. That's where that's coming in, is that scariness about not knowing what's going to happen. And this is where faith comes in, and you can ask yourself, why do you not have faith about this?
Mhm.
Why am I hoping and not faithing?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I have another question, but it's similar, but when it's someone in your life and you want them to have a certain behavior or remove a certain behavior from their lives, and there's nothing anybody can do.
Yeah.
I just have to have the faith.
Yeah, we can have faith for other people that they will want the best for their lives, but that isn't going to be enough because unfortunately, we can affect people to a certain level. We can. Um, but we can't affect their free will without there going to
Yeah.
be some kind of repercussion to you. So
Right.
it's like you just have to allow people to be. A lot of this is just allowing what is and then tuning in to what you want. Like if somebody is doing a behavior that you don't want around you, you just have to make boundaries and say,
Mhm.
hey, during this time, I'm not going to talk to you.
I'm
Call
not
me
going to
when,
respond to my text messages. Not going to.
yeah,
Okay.
call me when this is this way, and you set the boundary. Like, I'm not going to make
Mhm.
space for this. And some people, they'll let you go for a little bit, because they're
Mhm.
going through their own demons. But you have that space. You at least make the space that, hey, I'm willing to be here, but this is the way I'm showing up. I'm not gonna, if you're gonna, or this is the way you're showing up if you want to be in my life. And that can be difficult. It can be
Yep.
very difficult. But without those boundaries, and here's something that I was talking to somebody who's an addict like last week. And I
Mhm.
said, how would you, because I know another addict and I didn't know what to say to them in this scenario. And I was like, what would you do if you were talking to another addict in this scenario?
Mhm.
And this person I was talking to has been saved a lot. And
Yeah.
they go, oh, I would let them fall. I would leave them alone, let them fall. And I was like, really? I didn't expect like such a callous like response. I'm like, what do you mean? You would just not help them out at all? And they're like, oh no, you can't help those people out. The only thing that helps them is when they fall down. He was like, they need to fall down and then rebuild from there. And I was like, wow, okay. So when
That.
they get mad at you for not helping you, you as an addict actually understood why they didn't help you. He was like, oh, yeah, I needed it. I needed that. And anybody who gets out of that space, when they come back around, they're going to appreciate you doing that for them. But maybe in the moment while they're in the addiction, they won't. And I don't know if you're talking about that, but like
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So like it would be just creating your own boundaries because you get to choose what you allow in your life. People, you
Mhm.
can't change people, but you can change their access to you. And even if you want to be around them, that's the hardest part about boundaries. This is why it can be so hard to uphold them. Sometimes you have to let go of people you love and want in your life because they're pissing on you and you can't
Yes.
allow it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I have heard other mindset, Abraham Hicks and various ones talking that when you picture someone, the more you picture someone the way you want them to be, eventually that's how you actually see them. Is that something that is
It's
a
true.
viable?
But it's not in the way you're probably, so I can be wrong, but this is what I've noticed it to be. So yes, you can see them the way that you want to see them, and like you can send them love and all that, but you can't see them like, oh, they're sober, and then all of a sudden they show up sober. Um, it's uh, it's more seeing them from a place of an energetic standpoint, and then when you see them again, even when they're not sober or whenever they're whatever they're doing, you can still love them. You don't have
Mhm.
to judge them,
Yeah.
and you can accept them or whatever. And maybe it doesn't bother you that they're that way and you can allow them in your life, but it doesn't change them and their behaviors. It'll change the way they respond to you. Yes, in a way. If you're sending somebody love, I do that actually. When I'm upset with somebody or like somebody's done something really crazy and it's really easy to be mad at them or upset with them or whatever it may be, frustrated. We can all have our reasons. I send them love every morning and I picture them like a baby. We all make mistakes. And when a baby makes a
Mhm.
mistake, it's not like you're upset with them. You just know that they're a baby and they're learning. And so I like to look at them like babies, not condescendingly. It's just easier to see them. And for me to forgive some people when I see them as a baby. And and I send them love and I picture me holding them and caring for them and sending them love. And then like it's crazy, but within a week it does change the energy. Sometimes even sooner than that. And sometimes they'll call and be like, I've been thinking about this and I'm sorry. And maybe somebody who's never said sorry before,
Mhm.
or whatever. So that does happen, but
Okay.
you can't have the expectation that you're wanting to change their behavior. It's more of allowing and sending love or sending forgiveness, because that's all you can do on your part for somebody else is really love them and
Okay.
accept them, understand them. But if what they're doing is hurting you, you have to set your limits too. But
Okay.
sometimes they're only hurting us because of our thoughts about it. So it's just like there's so many nuances and layers and complexities. So you get
Okay.
to decide. Um, so so when it comes down to like money and identity, because all this stuff, it all ties together. This nervous system work and all that. Money is going to come in if you're more calm, cool, collected, and clear.
Mhm.
And like if you're not bogged down by negative emotions, negative thoughts, like loops going on, of course it's going to be more willing to come in because you have the space for it to come in. But do we have the space for a happy relationship? Do we have the space for that house? Do we have the space for the money? Are we making space for that? Or are we holding up the slot because we're so worried it can't come to us that we're actually blocking it? Because whatever we're worried about and wanting so much of, we're saying to the universe, I don't have it yet. And the universe is like, oh, you don't have it yet? Let me show you more about you not having it yet. Because
Right.
it's only responding back to you.
Right.
So it's changing that identity. And I know some people, by the way, that are addicts that will make sure they're sober around certain people so that they can be around them, even if they can't be sober all the time. They'll at least make boundaries to not be that way around that person.
Okay.
Um, so and sometimes the most healing thing for somebody is just to be loved as they are.
Okay.
Not saying that you have to love people up close.
Yeah.
So I know it's difficult.
Yep.
I want to hug you.
Thank you. Yep. It's very difficult. And it affects more than just him, more than just me. There's a lot of it affects a lot of people,
Yeah. Oh,
as you know.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody that relies on you and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
So it's also so addicts. Um, something that I had somebody who asked me a life coach their son who's an addict because they've heard some of my work, and I was like, here's the thing about addicts. Of course I'm not an addiction coach or anything. I'm more of the baseline foundational. I create what I do is I pretty much help people understand how you work so you
Mhm.
can create a system for yourself to live in the life that you really do want to live in. Like, so you can change different things, but knowing why you're doing it and what's working for you. And so like uh I told him addicts, the problem is what you find to be the problem is their solution.
Right.
So they're in a place, it's like their own hell that they're living in. And this thing that they're doing silences the pain in
Mhm.
one way or another. And it makes them feel better. Because what every one of us are doing or after really is to feel better. Even when we're traumatized, we're trying to feel better. Like if we're avoiding the things that we want, we're still doing it to feel better because we're scared of what bad could happen.
Right.
So it's working on the nervous system of the addicts too and letting them know they're safe and that they can have good times without having to do that, but not bringing that up in their face every single time because that also can be something for them that is triggering. is not feeling like they're loved or accepted where they are. And then that'll actually make them go into even sometimes a further down spiral. But somebody hitting rock bottom isn't a bad thing. Sometimes we have to. We don't always.
Well, every time it looks like he's hit rock bottom, it's not. It's not rock bottom.
There's more.
Yeah. So, yeah, yeah. I was discussing that with another person yesterday. We keep thinking he's hit rock bottom, and evidently not.
It's hard because in y'all's space, you have to be very patient, forgiving, very strong in your boundaries and all of that. It's difficult, but there's also a reason for all of this. This is something for you too, or you wouldn't be in it. Like it's
Yep.
not just about him, but this could be a space to teach you better boundaries. I don't know, like it depends on what's going on. And there may be more layers than that. Usually there are. So
Yeah.
it's like, what is there in this for you? You're being leveled up. Every time that you have a hard time like this going on, y'all are being leveled up. That's like how I like to look at it. It's like, oh, I'm being leveled up. This sucks. So I must be being leveled up. I'm going to look for the lesson. What is in it for me too?
I feel pretty leveled up right now. Getting kind of hard to breathe way up here in the atmosphere.
Well, and something I struggle with is always asking why, and that's a wrong question. I had somebody tell me you should ask how or what.
How can it get any better than this? I like to ask that question. What do I need to do? And how can it get any better than this? What do I need to learn?
Well, that's his question. Is what I need to learn out of this? And he goes, we were talking about something the other day, and as soon as he said it, I wrote it down, and he started lighting my self up, and I said, wow. He goes, what? I said, I just wrote that down before you said it. But no, on the house deal you were talking earlier, there's this house, probably 2018.
Mhm.
I drove past it and said, I'm going to buy that house. I bought that house in 2020 as a repo, and I bought it, fixed it, 50 cents on the dollar, turned around, owner financed it, and it's 2020. No, I bought it in 21, December 21, and I'm still collecting payments on it today.
Oh, that's awesome. See, and
Good
now it's
job.
expanding that. Yeah, I mean, you did that. Now it's like that allows you to expand more above that. You can keep expanding.
Well,
Like,
okay, so there was another house. I said I was going to buy that one, and I didn't trust the numbers, and I didn't buy the thing, and that's when the housing market blew up, and I would have still made $40,000 or $50,000 on it.
oh wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's I mean, we also have to feel safe in what we're trying to do. So this is actually the next step into this. Great segue. Expanding identity safely. Identity expansion doesn't require pretending. And this is something people say, fake it till you make it. I'm like, you actually can't. But what I think they're trying to say is act the part and then it'll start coming to you, which that is true. Act the part. You don't, sometimes you don't have to believe it. Just act the part. Just do it. Act like it's a game. Do it. And then once you do it, you may believe it. And then you may think it. And then you may, have the emotions that back it up. Sometimes it's a backwards way around it. But identity expansion doesn't require pretending. It requires practicing new patterns. So ask yourself this question: what would someone who comfortably earns my next level of income do differently than I do? What do they do differently? Maybe they make decisions more slowly around money, charge appropriately for their value, track money without fear, invest in growth, build systems instead of reacting emotionally. Maybe they hire somebody. Identity grows through repeated behavior. What do you do over and over and over? That's what you're going to identify with because you're going to see the results of that in your life. That's what you're consistently doing. Every calm decision tells your nervous system this level is safe. And this is why it's about being cool, calm, collected. Like when you feel calm in the decision you're making and you're not feeling all this, the heart's fluttering, you're not even breathing. Like when you're thinking like that, you're in the wrong space. That's already telling you you're not in alignment in your thoughts. Because if you're in alignment with your thoughts, it feels cool, calm, collected. It feels good. So if you're in alignment with like the way God thinks, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but if you're in alignment with what should be in alignment for you, it's going to feel good. Identity. So every calm decision is safe. You're going to make sure that happens. And over time, that safety becomes your normal. And this is how your normal becomes your identity. So you have to just expand slowly at a time and just keep on repeating a behavior, knowing that you're worthy of this. And then over time, it's going to make it happen. Now, depending on how high you're vibing, it may not take as long as other people. It just depends. How are you really feeling? Are you being honest? So money belief activation, and it's not, and when I say, are you being honest, it's not about like intentionally being a liar. We tend to lie to ourselves to protect ourselves. Almost the same reason most of the time people lie on the outside is to protect somebody. They don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. They don't want to do this, you know, whatever it may be. Uh, it's a protection thing. So, like, are you trying to protect yourself from the truth? It's not going to work if you are, because you have to face it. So we're going to do a little exercise, and this is not about forcing belief. It's about opening possibility. So sit comfortably. Take a slow breath and repeat internally, money is allowed in my life. I build wealth. I am allowed to build wealth. I am allowed to enjoy the resources that support my life. And you deserve it. I expand my capacity for money calmly and safely. I know it's meant for me. Now imagine yourself, this person who earns like the next level of income that you're wanting, and you're not stressed, you're not frantic, you're just steady. It's your identity. This is where you are. If this wasn't even happening, you'd feel like something was off. So this person, this is you. Notice how they move, how they make decisions, how calm their relationship is with money. That identity already exists as potential. Your work is simply just to grow into it. So who is this person that you want to be? Write them down. Maybe do some meditating. Like when you're making this much money, how do you act? What do you do differently? Money is not just numbers. It's identity, it's belief, and it's your nervous system capacity. You don't force expansion, you become the person who can hold it. And when that happens, money stops feeling chaotic and it becomes normal. So I did have the class 3 worksheet, and if you guys want to go over it, what we can do is next time, since there's 2 of you guys today, but next time if y'all want to, we can go over it in the beginning of class, and then we can go directly into module 4. Would y'all like to do that?
Yes. Yes. In fact, it's, the mind is so thing and is so funny, and mindset and attraction and uh, manifestation. When we started the class, the call, y'all were talking, and I was sitting there thinking, man, I wonder which class did she do some sort of worksheet where I could go through it and see where my money blocks are. And lo and behold, you present the class 3 worksheet that I have already downloaded and been looking at and mentally working on as we've gone through this today. So,
Oh, that's
and that
great.
was, yeah. So, yeah, I would love to go through it.
Yeah, it helps. Because sometimes it's just like you can have this information come at you, you look at the worksheet, but until like there's like some extra, like sometimes it just takes like somebody to walk you through it, and then it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Because it just feels so new, you know? And so yeah, we'll go over it the beginning of next week. We'll go over the worksheet and then we'll go into module 4 and worksheet for the not module 4, class 4. But we're going to be talking about money cycles and why money comes and why it goes, and
Oh,
then how to help stop that in your own life. I know we've touched on that quite a bit, but we're going to go dive a little deeper into it, and then also your beliefs around it.
good,
So,
good. I've
yeah.
already been planning on listening to the replay, in the car and doing things. So now I'm already eager for the replay for this call to be posted.
All right, I'll post it right away. I found that I can actually copy it and it updates later, so I can actually do it right away. I'd been waiting for the recording to say available, so I'll do that. So you'll have that.
Okay, great. Great. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mitzi.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank y'all
You're
for
welcome.
being here and letting me serve y'all. I get a lot of joy out of this.
Yeah. Um, I am really, really appreciating this right now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, you're talking about not to force it, but to hold it.
Mhm.
Okay, like there's certain things I know how to do that in, and then there's certain things I don't know how. Is that in the nervous system?
It's just your pre-programming. Your nervous system is just revealing what that is. But yeah.
Now, see, I've noticed my recoil time is way lower than it used to be. But yeah, like, well, and then you were talking, like, okay, you were talking about holding it, like, not force it. Like, I was working on my money today on some stuff, and I was like, well, I gotta get to the bank, put some money here, do that. And while you're talking, I remembered that I threw a considerable amount of money in the safe the other day and completely just forgot about
Oh wow.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so, you talked about hustle though, but at some point, don't you have to hustle a little bit?
Hustle can be a season. So I think that like what people do is they get into the loop of hustle and they keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. So I do believe that there is a place where you build your foundation. And in building the foundation, it takes more effort because I mean, just like doing anything new, you got to plant the seed, then you got to, water it, nourish it, and all that until it takes root. And so anything that you do, you got to create some kind of traction, but that's only through consistency. Anyways, so yeah, that's that consistency in the beginning, that feels like it's a lot more consistency because you're doing the planting basically and the nourishing of the seed for it to take hold. It can be what you would consider the hustle season. But it should only be a season. It shouldn't be how your life is. And it just depends on what you're focused on too. If you're starting a new business every year, you probably should look at and figure out what's going on there. But you should be able to have something that you start building consistency with so you're not constantly hustling.
Okay, that makes sense. But I mean, yeah, I was talking to my mom. I was talking to her today, and I said, I'm just tired of always working so damn
Because
hard.
it's not in alignment with you. That's why you feel that way. So it's like, what's in alignment for you? And what is it that you are, sometimes I just ask the question, like, how can it get any better than this? What is it that I'm not seeing? Because it's right in front of your face. Most of the time, what we're looking for is right there. We just aren't turned on to see it. So it's whatever you can just open yourself up to be like, what am I not, doing when it comes to money and the value I'm providing in the world? Why do I feel like I got to work so hard? And it doesn't have to be like the why question. It could be like how or what, like your guy said, but it's nice to know what programming you're working off of.
Okay, but like the law of compensation,
Hmm.
you get paid for what you do.
Hmm.
Like I have, the company I work for, I've made the company a considerable amount of money. And I went the other day and asked for a raise, and I was told you just got to work harder.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm having trouble of the law of compensation versus you got to work harder. It doesn't. It's not making sense to me.
Well, it depends on where they were at when they said that, but it could be that's just the way they see it is working harder, but it may be like just leveraging yourself more. If it's a sales position, like how can you leverage yourself? Instead of one-on-one, can you do it mass? Like what can you do to build, to grow? And it may just be a time of calling to grow and to thinking differently. It always is like whenever we're growing, it's a call to think differently about it. But like, if it's in a sales position, like what can you do to leverage?
Okay.
So an example. So I used to sell Cutco. Have y'all ever had a Cutco knife?
Oh yeah, I got cut by one right now.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, so they are sharp. So in college, I needed so much money. I was a salesman of everything. But Cutco was one of the things I did. And I would knock on people's doors and try to show people some Cutco, cut through a shoe, whatever I needed to do. And then so I was one on one, like trying to find people that would let me do presentations. And it did not work for me because it was just so much work. And then I go to this event like 2 months ago. And this guy comes up and does a presentation at this event. He goes, guys, have you ever heard of Cutco? Well, I'm a Cutco rep. And I'm like, what is he doing here? It's a real estate event. He goes, I just want to talk to you guys about the book of Giftology, where it talks about when in your business to give people gifts. Well, what better gift to give somebody than a Cutco knife that has lifetime guarantee that you can put your own information on? We can stamp it on there for you. And I was like, what? And so I was like, oh, this is great. And he said, and I only have to take a deposit down. We'll put all your stuff on there and then we'll ship it out to you. And this is what's going on. So you can get like 10 knives for $300. It's the cost of one knife to get started. This guy was selling Cutco knives left and right. I even bought a box of them because I'm like, oh, my clients and my team, they would love a Cutco knife and was supposed to sell in its name on there. Lifetime guarantee. This is great. I mean, people will inherit Cutco knives. It's good quality. And like, and that's a gift that people will remember you by. And they use all the time. So I was like, yeah, this is a great idea. This guy leveraged one meeting and probably sold at least 100 knives. He sold me 10. So like sold me 10. There were people coming up to him right after that wanting to sign up for the giftology stuff. And there's no telling really how much he actually sold at that event. I never sold that many knives, what he did in one day. And that's because I didn't ever think about leveraging like that. It was another way of thinking. And he put himself in a place no other Cutco guy ever thought about putting themselves in. Real estate events.
Thinking outside the box.
Hmm. He was the only one. Yeah. Had no competition. Yeah, I was thinking outside the box and he had leverage. So it's like, where can you do something like that? Um, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. I got another appointment showing up, but or about to start. So I just want to let y'all know I am so grateful. Thank you. And I will see you guys next week. Y'all have a great day. and great
Bye,
week.
Mitzi.